So we hope you'll enjoy the travelogue. I think it'll be both entertaining and educational and well worth your time attending. So our first slide, it was 39 years ago in 1982 that we had our first tour. That's on the right side, Canadian Rockies in the summer of 82. And we had a pretty good group. And the picture on the left is me 35 years ago in one of our first offices. I just want to mention that in that 35 years, AFC has survived 9/11 terrorist attack. We also survived the 2008 economic meltdown, and we will survive this pandemic as well and come out bigger and better than before. And we made the necessary adjustments to make sure we survive through this. And we're looking forward to next year and all the possibilities. In fact, there's some pictures of Arlene, my wife, and I traveling. Will and many of the other staff members here at AFC have traveled in the last 8 months. And I just wanted to tell you my experience and what it's like. Arlene and I are 66 years old. We're considered high risk. And we flew from San Diego to Salt Lake City, rented a car, and spent 9 days in Park City. And I want to tell you that I really, really enjoyed travel. It's still fun and rewarding, even with all the safety measures required during the pandemic. And we had a little backpack that we had our hand sanitizer and our wipes, and we wore our masks. Everybody did. You can see in one picture, my mask is under my chin. That's where I kept it. So you never lose it. You put it on when you need it, take it off, put it down when you're not. And we ate outdoors, which was very safe. Everything was perfectly done. When we flew, I don't know if you know, airlines have a special filtration system. And they have HEPA filters that stop viruses, but they actually recirculate, clean the air every 5 minutes. That's 12 times an hour. The air in the entire cabin is completely sucked out, filtered, and then put back in. So we had no problem with that. And anyway, I think this is something you should really consider. Also, I wanted to mention that on our motor coaches, they hold 55 people, and we're keeping that to a much lower number. So we have some room and empty seats. It's also very important to know that all the motor coaches and your home shuttle vehicles will be hand sanitized and cleaned and wiped down before every ride. The motor coach will be wiped down 3 times a day and very good each night. And we'll provide hand sanitizer and wipes. So I really feel confident that travel is safe and ready to go. And there's the AFC advantage. If you looked at the staff here, the average is 10 years with AFC. And the highest is Joe on the left, our reservations manager. And Joe's been 23 years with AFC. So I think it's the people and the service and the way we give them the right to fix whatever problems or questions you might have. Let's talk about home pickup. You know, I like to say one call does it all with AFC. We handle your home pickup. We handle your airfare and your tour. It's all an inclusive package. And we kick it up a notch with AFC and our home pickup. We use town cars, SUVs, and Mercedes Sprinter vans. Gratuity is always included. It's a great way to start and end the tour. You feel like a rock star being picked up in a limo. Anybody likes to save money, AFC's got a lot of ways to do that. In the center, you'll see a red, white, and blue circle. Cash early booking discount. That's our most popular one. The average tour is $100 off per person for the first 10 to book. On our international tours, the average is $150 to $200. And some of our bucket list international tours, $300 off per person. That's serious money. All you have to do is agree to make your final payment by check. There you go. On the left is our single room savings. We have a lot of solo travelers, and many of our trips offer 50% off the single supplement. And that's a savings of between $350 and $500. It's not offered on all tours. Some tours, there's just 2 per departure. Other tours, there's 5 per departure. Again, ask Joe and April about that or consult the catalog. If you book several trips at one time, and people do book sometimes 4 mystery tours at one time, you'll save on each one of those, which is great. Our tour managers really make or break the tour. This is where the rubber meets the road. Our tour managers are great storytellers, wonderful problem solvers, and they're just plain fun. And I just want you to know that they have a great schedule set up. You can go on our website under Meet Our Tour Managers, and there's a profile on each tour manager, and you can click on that in order to get their schedule for next year. And we include the airfare, and we have our own air department here, and we book first nonstop flights. Then if those aren't available, we book connection flights. And so you have your home shuttle, you get to the airport, your seat assignment is already set up. We do any upgrades that you would like. And again, remember that if you have friends and family anywhere in this country, we can get them on the tour. They get a credit for home shuttle, and then we do the airfare based out of their city. So they'll probably get a credit for that. Works out real well. Also, you'll see in our catalog all these logos. Now, what do those mean? Well, it's a good way of identifying different trips. For instance, Unpack Once. We have 16 tours that unpack once, one hotel. You got to love that. We have 11 tours that unpack twice, just 2 hotels. Okay. Mystery tours, we have 10 of those. Train tours, we have 9 of those. And then short duration tours, we have 19 of those. These are tours that are 6 days or less. They're more affordable. Many times they have just 1 or 2 hotels. But again, it allows you to have an inexpensive first-class vacation. The meals are fantastic. We always have breakfast, and then we do a lot of dinners and some lunches. But it's a really great way to travel. We have cooking demonstrations. Down on the right-hand side is a picture of the Napa Valley wine train. Excellent hotels. Upper right is the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island, Michigan. And on the left is Sedona, the Hilton Hotel that we use on several tours. We're the very prestigious tour operator associations, the National Tour Association, the American Bus Association, and most importantly, the U.S. Tour Operators Association. There are only 60 members out of all the tour operators in this country. And what's great is they have a $1 million traveler assistance program. In the unlikely event any of their members were to go bankrupt, you would be refunded your money from this fund. That's very important because a lot of tour operators cannot claim that. In addition, we offer low-cost travel protection. It's a plan that covers you even up to 2 days before you can cancel for any reason, and you'll get a 75% future tour credit of the value of the trip. And there's not very many insurance companies that can do that. And then here are the show specials, and I'll repeat these at the end. But there are 3 things we're going to reward you with for attending today's show. If you book within 1 week of today, that's by Tuesday, November 24th of next week, your deposit will be reduced to $99 per person. Right now, it's 2 for 1 or $175. So you're going to save about, $80 on that. Also, we're offering a special $25 off any tour you book, in addition to the early booking discount that would apply. So there's some good money. And if you book the travel protection with your deposit, we'll take $20 more off your tour. At this rate, I'm going to owe you money at the end of the day. You just simply have to write in or tell Joe or April this code, VTS, which stands for Virtual Travel Show, 11/20, November 2020. It's very easy. So I think you're all set there. Let's talk about how to make a reservation. We have so many people calling in. We're now taking reservations by email and on our website. So you can still call in on the toll-free number and the regular number, or you can email Joe with which tour, which date, how many people, and so on, what airport, and he'll make sure somebody gets back to you and confirms you. Or you can go on our website and just click on the page that describes your tour, the itinerary page. In the upper left, there's a little place called Important Links. And under that, it says print the page or reservation. You click on a reservation, and up comes a digital reservation form. You fill it out and hit send, and that goes right into April and Joe. And they'll book you on the trip and then get back to you with a confirmation. For any of our group leaders that are tuning in, you can see a picture of our group sales coordinator. That's Claudia Arango, and she's wonderful. So please deal with her directly. Ask for Claudia. And it's all about fun. If you did a survey, I think the number one answer, why do I travel, would be I want to have fun with newfound friends. And I tell you, AFC really excels in that. Here's our mystery tours. Now, this year we had to suspend and reschedule all of our mystery tours, which was really a disappointment because almost every one of them was sold out. So we rescheduled them for next year and added some. So I'm happy to announce we have 10 mystery tours for next year. So those that like to book 4 or 5 at a time, get on the phone with Joe and square it away, because so many people use their future tour credit from this year and have already booked next year. These are encore tours. These are 3 trips we've already done before in the past. They're 3 of our best mystery tours, and they're excellent for first timers. But also, anybody who hasn't been to that area should book it. What do I mean? You can check with Joe, and Joe will let you know if you've been to that area or not, and then he'll book you. Last year, we had a lady who had been on 8 mystery tours, but she hadn't been on one of our encores, so we booked her on it. And then we have 7 of our regular brand new mystery tours. And I'm happy to say 2 of them are international. You can see the one in December for the holiday, but also the August 1 through 5, a 5-day trip with Deb Howard. That is also international with a special event, no less. So again, book these trips. I don't think we've ever had a better stable of mystery tours in the history of our company. Right now, we've done about 40 of these over the last 9 years. Let's get into our tours. Following along in your catalog, if you'd like, purple up on top is for the Southeast. And we're going to start with New Orleans and the Cajun country. Each one of these slides will have a map and some pictures and highlights. And we'll cover each tour with just 2 slides. So it's going to be very quick, but it'll give you a great overview. If you love the Deep South, Southern hospitality, the Cajun country, New Orleans, which is unlike any other city, the antebellum homes, you're going to love this trip. The great food down there, you got to love it. If you go in spring, which would be March, you'll have the azaleas and the rhododendrons, all the beautiful spring flowers. And on the left, of course, you'll have the Cajun country. That is a very, very popular tour, and I'd love you to join us. New Orleans and the Mississippi Gulf Coast. This is one of those special 6-day tours that we put together, and you only unpack twice, flying into New Orleans, 2 nights in the French Quarter, and then 3 nights at a beautiful high-rise casino hotel right on the Gulf Coast. And that is all filled with highlights and really well done. And this is a little bit more leisurely paced and also less expensive than a regular New Orleans tour. When you visit New Orleans, you'll be visiting the Mardi Gras Museum, not for costumes, but for the floats. And this is where they build the floats for the parades. And then on the right are the little donuts called beignets, and they serve it with this coffee with a little chicory in it. And that's the very famous Café du Mont, which is open 24 hours a day on the French Quarter. This is one of AFC's top 10 tours, I think, America's Music Cities. And you're going to actually learn about so many of the great musics that have been discovered here and started in the United States. St. Louis Blues, Branson for all their live shows, Memphis for the blues and rock and roll, because Elvis Presley is from Memphis, and then country western music in Nashville. And you'll be doing 4 shows in Branson, plus a show in Nashville at the Grand Ole Opry. We'll also be visiting the Gibson Guitar Factory in Memphis. Speaking of Graceland, that's pictured on the right. And this is where Elvis Presley lived for most of his life and where he's buried. And it's called Graceland, and we'll spend quite a bit of time there. And on the left is the home of the blues. It's Beale Street in Memphis. Next, we have Georgia on My Mind. And this is one of the Unpack Once tours. You fly nonstop, I love that, on Delta Airlines right into Atlanta. And you'll spend 5 nights at a beautiful Hyatt hotel. There's lots of sightseeing and day trips. When you think of these Unpack Once tours, folks, think of them as a hub of a wheel and spoke, hub and spoke. The hub being the hotel, and the spokes are the different day trips. You don't go more than an hour and a half to 2 hours from the hotel when you come back. So you spend all these days, but you get to hang up your clothes in the closet, which I love. And you'll see gardens and you'll see attractions and the world of Coke, all of those things. And a lot on civil rights, which is really in the news these days with Black Lives Matter. And this is where you'll see the Civil Rights Museum and Martin Luther King, who grew up here, and his museum's located here too. Next, we have a really nice 6-day tour. Again, just 2 hotels. This is called Kentucky with Noah's Ark. In the bottom right, you can see a picture of this giant ark, and it's built just north of Lexington. And what I love about this is it's supposed to be an exact replica of the ark that Noah had and the animals 2 by 2, as described in the Bible. It's 500 feet long, that's 5 football fields, and 5 stories high. You go up in an elevator, and then you go through the actual ark, and it's very interesting. We'll also go to the Louisville Slugger baseball bat factory, and then the thoroughbred horse raising and stud farms there in Lexington. You'll also go to Churchill Downs, which has the Kentucky Derby. It's called the most exciting 2 minutes in all of sports. Also to your right, there's a picture of the Muhammad Ali Museum. Cassius Clay, he was born as in Louisville, and there's a great museum there as well. This is another top 10 AFC tour and should be very high on your list for taking. If you want a tour with 300 years of American history, a leisurely pace, wonderful resort hotels, and great low country dining, you're going to love this trip. The 3 states of South Carolina, Georgia, and a little bit of Florida. And this is the old genteel Gone with the Wind South. You're going to be staying at so many great places, including the Jekyll Island Resort. And then on the left, you can see Charleston with Rainbow Row. And on the right, it's the Savannah Waterfront. So this tour delivers in so many ways. I highly recommend it. We have 2 tours guaranteed already for April. Now, Washington, D.C. is a fantastic destination any time of year. But you throw in cherry blossoms, forget about it. I'm telling you, this delivers big time. Not only will you be very patriotic and feel proud to be an American because of all these great memorials, but you'll unpack once and you'll do all kinds of tours in Washington, as well as a wonderful day trip to Annapolis, the Naval Academy and the capital of Maryland. And the cherry blossoms are all around the tidal basin, and we'll see those and all the memorials and a night tour and the whole bit. This tour is fantastic. There's the cherry blossoms around the Jefferson Memorial, and then you'll also be visiting on the right Mount Vernon, the only home of George and Martha Washington. Let's talk about Florida, because this is not a Mickey Mouse tour. We're not going anywhere near Orlando and Disney World. Believe it or not, there is a scenic and historic side to Florida. We fly into Tampa and we do the Gulf Coast, and we go down to the Gold Coast of Fort Lauderdale and Miami. And then the highlight for most people is the going to the Sea Highway all the way out to Key West. So you're going to see Miami Beach. We'll go on the Everglades on an airboat ride. The beautiful house at the lower right is the house of John Ringling, the circus magnate, made all his money with the Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus. And again, it's a very tropical tour. So this tour is wonderful to go in November. This is, I think, the best time, November. Let's talk about an event tour. It's also an Unpack Once tour. We fly into San Antonio nonstop if we can, and then we spend 4 nights right on the Riverwalk. And we'll do all the events there, including chartering the electric boats, and we'll do the Fiesta Flambeau Parade, the Alamo, and so on. And a couple of day trips. We'll go up to Austin, the capital, for the LBJ Library, and also to the Germantown of Fredericksburg. And you'll see there the parade that we'll see. There's a boat parade as well, and then the LBJ Library. Next, we have another top 10 tour. Most companies, you'll have to take 2 tours to see Niagara Falls and the Grand Hotel, 2 different tours. AFC is the only tour operator to give both of them to you as a bonus in 1 tour. That's why it's so successful. So we fly into Detroit and learn all about Henry Ford and the car. And then we go up to Mackinac Island and spend 2 nights at the 4-star Grand Hotel with dinners included each night. And then we drive down to Frankenmuth, and that's the Bavarian part of town in Michigan. and finally over to Niagara Falls, where we spend 2 nights overlooking the Horseshoe Falls at the beautiful Marriott. Again, this is a tour you've got to go to. That's the Maid of the Mist boat ride on the right-hand side, and on the left is the view from the veranda at the Grand Hotel. We have Chicago as an Unpack Once tour, 6 nights at the Hilton Palmer House, a wonderful restored 4-diamond hotel in the Loop area of downtown Chicago. What I love again about this trip is you can see the hub and spoke with all the different things we're doing on our day trips. You'll take a walking tour of Wrigley Field. We have a tour of the gangster era, Machine Gun Kelly, John Dillinger, Scarface, Al Capone, all these different things. In the left, you'll see this giant, looks like a kidney bean at a Chrome, and that's in Millennial Park, and you'll see that as well. You'll also see the Art Institute to the right, and on the left, we'll go to the Sears Tower, and they actually have a pop-out window. This is not for people with vertigo, because when you step onto that plastic, it's over 1,000 feet straight down. Next, I'm going to talk about our US and Canada tours. And these are being very, very popular for 2021 because they involve a lot of outdoor national park and scenic tours. And people want to be outdoors, enjoying nature. And so we've got you covered. This is a new program, 6 days, 5 nights, 2 hotels, and we'd be going to Utah, Nevada, and Arizona. It's a short flight to Vegas, and look at the picture in the left here. It's called the Grand Canyon West Skywalk. It's on an Indian reservation, and they built this giant horseshoe-shaped view that goes out over the canyon, and it actually has a glass floor, so you look right down into the world's geologic pit, and that is the Grand Canyon. Also, you'll see a lot of pictures with people in it. These are taken all on our tours, so maybe you'll spot yourself. Here's another shot of that tour with the Grand Canyon. Another Unpack Once tour that's good for this year is the Canadian Rockies at one hotel. So you fly into Calgary in 5 nights in Banff, and look at all the wonderful day trips you'll do. You'll go up to the Columbia Ice Field. You can see that red tractor coach that actually drives right out on the ice. We'll visit the Banff Springs Hotel, the Chateau Lake Louise. If you love alpine scenery, glaciers, wonderful fresh air, this is the way to go. Canada's Canadian Rockies. You'll take the gondola, if you'd like, up to the top of Sulphur Mountain. There are restaurants that overlook the area. Really takes your breath away. If you can't go to Switzerland, folks, you need to go to the Canadian Rockies, one of our top trips. This is a program that's really good for people that just moved to California or for our Texas clients that want to see some unique parts of California. Into Vegas and out of San Diego, you're doing 2 national parks, Death Valley and also Joshua Tree. You're going to the resort area of Palm Springs. This really has a lot to it. And you're on and off the fabled Route 66 that went from Chicago to Los Angeles. In Palm Springs, you'll do the aerial tram up to the top of Mount San Jacinto. And on the left is the dam, originally called Boulder Dam, and then renamed Hoover Dam. It's by Las Vegas. Let's move to New Mexico. This is another top 10 AFC program. What I like to say is the New Mexico Balloon Fiesta was not run this year. And so therefore, next year is going to be doubly fun. Plus, it'll be the 50-year anniversary of the Balloon Fiesta. What a fantastic way to travel. You fly into Albuquerque, 2 hotels, 2 in Albuquerque and 3 nights Santa Fe. And we're doing, of course, the Taos Pueblo and Los Alamos, which was headquarters for the Manhattan Project, the atomic bomb in World War II. You'll learn about the 19 different tribes of Pueblo Indians. And not only will you see the mass ascension of the balloons, that's 400 or so special shaped balloons going up at once. We'll also take you to the evening, what's called the Balloon Glow. And another tour you'd like to do, I'm sure, if you can't go to the Balloon Fiesta, which is in October, we also go to Santa Fe, and we do that in the spring and the fall. And that, again, has 1 hotel, 5 nights right in downtown Santa Fe, at the beautiful Hilton or Inn of the Governors. and you'll see all kinds of Spanish history. Santa Fe was the capital when Mexico was here, and then before that, when Spain. So it's been a city for over 600 years. Amazing. And again, that's the Taos Pueblo to your right. People have lived in there for 600 years. There's no running water, no interior bathrooms. Sounds like my first apartment in college. Anyway, there's the Rio Grande River as well. Let's move to the Pacific Northwest. Now, a lot of people have said, Randy, I want to go up to Washington. I want to see Puget Sound, and I want to go to a very hard to get to national park, and that's the Olympic National Park. And that's what this tour does. Seattle, Tacoma, and Port Angeles. Really has a lot of variety, including whale watching, but not for gray whales. We're going to be looking for orcas, the killer whales. On this tour on the left, you'll see the Dale Chihuly glass factory, and he's a wonderful artist, world-renowned, and you'll see how he makes these wonderful glass sculptures. Another top 10 tour for AFC, many of you have taken this tour, I'm sure, Yellowstone and Mount Rushmore. Now, you're going to see South Dakota, Wyoming, and Utah. Lots of national parks. And of course, Yellowstone is the oldest national park in the world. It was set aside in 1872, right after our Civil War. We'll also go to this giant Devil's Tower. You can see it on the right. It's about 870 feet high. On an average day, there's over 20 people climbing it, and you'll see it. It was used in that movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Maybe you remember that. Now, the construction is all done at Mount Rushmore, so you're going to have the all new observation decks and areas, and you'll be the first groups to come see that in the summer of next year. We'll also visit Grand Teton National Park and, of course, the Mormon Tabernacle and the temple there in Salt Lake City. Great Trains and Grand Canyons. We have over 12 departures of this tour. It's very popular with groups. You fly into Phoenix, and then you drive about 2 hours up to Sedona for 5 nights. And you'll be on 2 trains, the Verde Canyon Railroad, which is pictured to the right, and then the Grand Canyon Railroad, which I'll show you in just a bit. And you'll see the Grand Canyon and really enjoy the beautiful red rock country of Sedona. And that's a picture on the right of Cathedral Rocks, and on the left would be the Santa Fe Chief, the railroad that goes on the Grand Canyon with the observation car. Again, an excellent tour. It's offered in the spring, summer, and fall. U.S. and Canadian parks, another real winner. And this is if you want to go to both U.S. and Canada, and you want to be in the mountains every day. You'll be in the Canadian Rockies and the American Rockies, traveling through Washington, Idaho, Montana, and then Alberta and British Columbia. 6 national parks you'll see. And you'll go to Glacier National Park. In the upper right, you'll go on these little red jammer cars. They hold about 17 people, and we'll take that over the Going to the Sun Highway. Again, lots of beautiful mountain scenery and gardens to see. This program goes in July and August. We're the only tour company that spends a whole week in Idaho. There are 6 mountain ranges in Idaho, and if you ironed them all out, they would fill Texas. That's how mountainous this is. Up and down alpine scenery. Only 3 hotels, 2 nights each. Each hotel is a highlight in itself. In the upper right is Coeur d'Alene Resort. We'll be in the tower overlooking the lake. Then our last hotel will be in the ski area of Sun Valley, made famous by Sonja Henie and her show and her movie, as well as Ernest Hemingway. We'll also take a jet boat ride on the Salmon River. We'll learn about Lewis and Clark and go into a working, believe it or not, a working silver mine in Idaho. A lot of fun. Another train trip. Again, this is one of 10 train trips that we have. 9 days. It's a great circle in and out of Denver. This is especially popular with our Texas folks because you get away from the heat of Texas up into the altitude and the beautiful alpine mountains. We'll be doing 2 trains. That is the Durango and Silverton Railroad, located to the right. And then the other train along the river valley is the Royal Gorge Railroad. We'll also see several national parks, Arches, Canyonlands, and then the cliff dwellings of Mesa Verde. What a great tour, huh? And then you'll see again the Durango Railroad, and then you'll see a picture of Canyonlands National Park. And that's where the Green River and the Colorado come together. Still going on our national park theme, this tour, we actually operated this year. It was a very successful program. See, we have operated tours. Isn't that amazing for a tour company? What a great deal. We actually flew into Rapid City and 6 nights there. And again, a hub and spoke with lots of neat things to see and do. Black Hills and Badlands at spring, summer, and fall. There's our Mount Rushmore. And to the right of that is the Crazy Horse Memorial. It's another memorial being blasted into the Black Hills. And then you'll see the train. It's the 1880 train. And then the granite there, the little peaks are called the Needles. I think there's a short video here on what it's like to go on the Jeeps as we look for buffalo. This is in the Custer State Park. Pretty good, lots of fun. Canyon de Chelly and Mesa Verde. This was a special request by a number of our clients. They wanted to go to a very inaccessible area of Arizona called Chenli. It's on the Navajo reservation, and it's famous for Canyon de Chelly. And there's a picture of that in the lower right. It's actually 3 canyons that come together. We'll drive along the rim for photos, but more importantly, we'll take a 4-wheel drive truck along the bottom through the river over to Spider Rock. We'll visit slot canyons, arches, Mesa Verde, cliff dwellings. All these things will be included on this program. We'll see Arches National Park and Canyonlands too on that. Ultimate Canyonlands, Chris McCool put this together, and this is the ultimate tour if you want to see the Canyonlands of Arizona and Utah. It's a 9-day circle. It does 6 national parks and 6 state parks. On the right, you'll see a picture of Barbara Jorgensen, who works as a tour manager for us and does a lot of document parties for us in Texas. So she's well-liked here, of course, at AFC. You'll visit Bryce and Arches and Canyonlands and so on. And again, this is a fantastic trip. A very short flight to Las Vegas. It's just an hour from California. This is another themed or event tour. The Portland Rose Festival has been going on, believe it or not, 113 years. And this is in the town of Portland, Oregon. We fly into Portland and spend 5 nights at one hotel. We'll go to the coast. We'll learn about Lewis and Clark. We'll go up the Columbia River Valley and even over to the old ancient volcano that erupted in 1980, Mount St. Helens. So something else, a lot of variety on this trip. We'll see the Oregon coast, and that mansion on the left is the Pittock Mansion. And he started the newspaper, the Oregonian, easy for me to say, in Oregon. Another rail trip, California Rail Discovery. This, again, great for our Texas clients. This is where you'll see the Bay Area and the mountains. So you'll go to Lake Tahoe, our capital, Sacramento, and San Francisco. And you'll go on 2 trains, the Napa Valley Wine Train through our wine country, and then the Sierra Nevada Rail. Again, a lot of beautiful things to see on this trip. On the right-hand side is Sacramento. That's a vertical lift bridge. Pacific Coast Tour. If you've ever wanted to go from Seattle all the way to San Francisco, this is the tour for you. This is a summer tour that we do, and I think you'll enjoy all the highlights here, including the redwood trees. And you'll go to 2 great cities, Seattle and San Francisco. New York and the Hudson Valley. This is the best of both worlds. New York has a lot to offer with history and big cities. So 3 nights right in Midtown Manhattan at a beautiful hotel there. And then you'll be going 3 nights up into the Hudson River Valley. And you'll be learning about Franklin Delano Roosevelt and his wife Eleanor, and also about West Point with the military academy. A lot of great things to see and do on this tour. And of course, you'll be going to Ellis Island, the Immigration Museum, and also to St. Patrick's Cathedral. Cape Cod and the Islands. Deb Howard does a lot of these. Really popular trip. You fly in and out of Boston, and you unpack just twice, one night Boston, and then 5 nights right on the Cape. You'll be going by ferry over to Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. You'll also go to the beautiful mansions, the summer mansions of Newport, Rhode Island. And you'll also go to Plymouth. Now, Plymouth this year was celebrating its 400-year anniversary, 1620 to 2020. Unfortunately, they had to delay that to next year. So another good reason to take this tour. Plymouth will be celebrating their big 400-year anniversary. And on the left is the beautiful Breakers Mansion in Newport. That was Cornelius Vanderbilt, the shipping and railroad tycoon. Another tour that is one of our top 10, Great Canadian Cities and Niagara Falls. You're going to be going into Montreal and out of Buffalo. So you'll take a train from Montreal to Quebec and then motor coach the rest of the way through Ottawa, the Thousand Islands, and Toronto. This tour delivers every day with highlights. One of my favorite. I used to love escorting this trip. You can go with us in summer, or you can go with us in fall foliage, which would be October. And on the left is Quebec City. It's the only walled city in North America. It has 5 gates. That's the St. Jean Gate. And on the right-hand side is the Basilica at Saint-Anne-de-Beaupré. It's almost an exact replica of the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. And then our classic New England tour. This does all 6 states of New England, even out to Bar Harbor, Maine. It's a circle out of Boston, and you're going to see all the highlights of New England and many craft shows. You'll enjoy this tour very good, and it's, again, offered in the summer or in the fall for fall foliage. A new tour we have is Coastal Maine with the lighthouses and landscapes. And this is Deb Howard's brainchild, and she did a great job of setting this up. And this is where you fly into Boston one night, and then you go up into Kennebunkport for 5 nights with some nice day trips all over. And this is something you should really consider. It's 8 days, nice summer tour. And you can see lots of lighthouses on this program. Brandywine and the Poconos, another wonderful tour with Deb. We've done this now for almost 9 years. What a great tour as well. 2 hotels, 4 nights in the Brandywine Valley and 2 nights up in the Poconos. And in the Brandywine Valley, you're going to learn about the estates of the DuPont family. We go to the Amish country, Philadelphia with its colonial history. And of course, we're doing this in October, so it's a fall foliage tour. We'll go to the sweetest city in the United States, Hershey, Pennsylvania, and also see where Martin makes these beautiful acoustic guitars. This is a new tour that we're getting off the ground, Pittsburgh and Falling Water. It was originally a mystery tour, and it sold out its first year. We did it a second time. It sold out again, and now we've made it a scheduled tour. And this is where you'll unpack in downtown Pittsburgh for 4 nights. It's a 5-day trip. And you'll learn about all the history of Andrew Carnegie. You pronounce it Carnegie, but in Scotland they would pronounce it Carnegie, and his wonderful museums, Carnegie Museum, and all the universities and libraries he built there. Pittsburgh is where 2 rivers come together, the Monongahela and the Allegheny, and they form the Ohio River. Okay. Also, Heinz has his headquarters there for 57 sauce and tomato sauce. And he has a historic museum as well about Pittsburgh. And that mansion is called the Harcourt Mansion. And that's a beautiful Tudor-style mansion we'll visit. One of the highlights will be on the left. We're going about an hour and a half south of Pittsburgh to a little town where there's a house called Falling Water. And this is considered Frank Lloyd Wright's best architectural design in a residential home. And we'll visit that and tour through it. On the right-hand side is the Dubuque Incline and the view of the point there where the rivers meet in Pittsburgh. That tour, by the way, goes in October, I believe. Then we have Nova Scotia and the Canadian Maritimes. This is a tour for people that have been there and done that. Canada has 10 provinces, and the 3 smallest are way out east. So far east, it's actually a 4-hour time change from California. The provinces of New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, which means New Scotland, and the littlest of the provinces, PEI, which is Prince Edward Island. So if you want to stay away from the big cities, see beautiful coastlines and towns, lighthouses, this is the tour for you. On the left, you'll see a redheaded gal waving. That's the story of Anne of Green Gables, written in Charlottetown by Lucy Maud Montgomery there on Prince Edward Island. We'll also have a lobster supper, which is great. New England Rails and Trails. This is if you want to do New England, but also have some scenic railroads. There are 2 scenic railroads that we'll do in New Hampshire. So you've got Boston, the coast of Maine, Vermont with all the maple syrup factories, and of course, New Hampshire. Covered bridges, wonderful lighthouses, colonial history, steepled churches, fantastic foliage. Now our international departures. Now, if you are not going to go internationally, you could probably just go and make your reservation now. But if you're enjoying the travel log and would like to learn more about some great bucket list ideas for travel, then continue with us. This is one of our top 10 tours. It was designed by Chris McCool. Chris has done this tour over 65 times. Alpine Swiss villages. Rick Steves would be jealous of this tour. It's unlike any tour you can take. We're going to be going to a small alpine village at 4,100 feet. No roads there. You have to take a cog railroad. It's called Wengen. Only 900 people. No cars allowed. They have paved streets and all, but they're more like walkways. And you're going to do day trips from there on all kinds of conveyances. We're going to buy you a pass. Chris will take you on different things each day, depending on the weather. You'll be on fast trains, slow trains, gondolas, aerial trams, lake steamers, you name it, and you're going to travel like a local. You will meet very few Americans. This is really off the beaten path and a fantastic tour. And that's some of the gondolas you'll be on there. I highly recommend this program. It's in the June, July, and September. And again, it should be top 5 of tours you should take, not only with us, with anybody. Athens and the Greek Isles. Now, we do this a little bit different. Everybody flies into Athens, I get that. But then you usually get on a substandard ship and you cruise around the Greek islands, substandard in food, accommodations, and everything. What we do is we take a ferry over to Mykonos, where you see the windmills, and we spend 2 nights at a 4-diamond hotel. Then we take a ferry to the Santorini, pictured in the upper right, which is nested on the rim of a volcano. And we have 2 nights there at a 4-diamond hotel. And you'll see the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And you'll learn all about the Acropolis and the Parthenon. And there's a wonderful extension at the end, if you'd like. And this goes to Kalambaka, which is to your right. That's the Meteora Monastery. And on your left is the Temple of Apollo. Apollo was the son of Zeus. And that's in Delphi. The Oracle of Delphi, who could see the future, is also there. So again, another great trip. Ireland, so much of Ireland. What an affinity America has with Ireland. It's the land of green leprechauns, of the 4-leaf clover, St. Patrick's Day, Guinness Stout, and Irish whiskey. Also, writers James Joyce and Oscar Wilde. And of course, who can forget the Irish castles and pubs. With the dance and song, you're going to enjoy this tour. We're going to visit Southern Ireland, called the Republic of Ireland, about 5 million people, and Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, Belfast, and that has about 2 million people. So you'll enjoy this trip, no doubt about it. And I hope you'll join us on that. The library in the upper right, by the way, is the Trinity College in Dublin, and that's a beautiful library. And on the left are the Cliffs of Moher, which I think you'll enjoy going through. And again, the castles and beautiful summer houses and Tudor-style mansions of this area. Scotland and Northern Ireland, a nice combo into Dublin and out of Edinburgh, more of the same area. In the upper right is the Titanic Museum. That's in Belfast. Belfast is where that ship was built. And on the left is Edinburgh Castle. Let's have a little moment of silence for the original James Bond, Sean Connery, who died this year. One of my great, loved him. And on the right, you'll have the home of golf, St. Andrews on the Old Course. We have 3 trips in Italy. Some involve trains, but all of them involve very few hotels. So this is Rome and then going down to the Amalfi Coast with 5 nights in Sorrento. So you'll be going to Pompeii and all these wonderful areas along the coast there. And also the Isle of Capri. Pompeii, of course, got covered by volcanic dust. And when they dug it out, it was so well preserved. Iceland Explorer, this is another destination that should be high on your list. There's so much to see. Where else can you see a volcano right next to a glacier? In the lower right is the Blue Lagoon, where we'll pay for your admission, bring your suit, you get a locker, and you go out in these thermal pools. A lot of fun. You go in at 76 years old, you come out at 54. Gotta love that. And again, you go into Reykjavik, the capital, unpack once, and then do day trips. These are all the things that you'll see and do there. England, Scotland, Wales, another wonderful combination of the island there. And we'll enjoy that for sure with all the great sightseeing. Stonehenge, Changing of the Guard, London Bridge, all of that. And of course, Edinburgh. There you go. Parliament and Big Ben. This is a new tour, French Riviera and Provence. And you fly into Nice and you'll spend 6 nights right on the French Riviera. And you'll be visiting all these different cities along the way, including Monte Carlo. So again, a wonderful trip if you want to see the French Riviera. And you'll also see and go to a lavender farm. Rome and the country roads of Tuscany. What a great trip this is. Again, this program goes in the summer and fall. And we also have a great train trip of Italy. What I love about this tour is that you're going to be going on high-speed rail. What do I mean by high-speed? How about 200 miles an hour? Can you believe that? So we actually take the train from Florence to Venice, which is 4 hours to drive in a coach, but you can do it 2 hours on a high-speed rail. And the same thing, a high-speed rail from Rome to Naples. Normally it's 2 hours. We do it in an hour. You got to love that. We're going to City of Michelangelo, which is Florence, and Venice and Rome on the Tiber River. Spain and Portugal, another fantastic program, also including high-speed rail. Madrid to Barcelona, 200 miles an hour. It takes less than an hour and a half. What a wonderful trip. We'll learn about Gaudi, the great architect in Barcelona. We'll go to Toledo and the wonderful fort. On the left is the Alhambra in Granada, which is the capital of the Moors, the Muslims that controlled the area. And then also we'll go to Cordoba. Now, when you think of Thailand, you think of great food, massages, elephants, wonderful temples, Buddhism, floating markets. That's what you're going to see on this trip. Fly into Bangkok and spend 6 nights there. There's an extension up to Chiang Mai in the elephant country if you want. We'll see the Grand Palace, which was used for over 500 years by the kings of Thailand. And again, the Buddhist religion we'll see a lot of. This is a short trip, 5 days, unpack once, going down to Baja, Mexico. It's a wonderful trip because it goes in January and November. So you'll enjoy that for sure. And that stays right in a beachfront resort. We'll do whale watching. And again, lots of neat activities in that Mexican port. This is a tour that people like eco tours. You're going to see so much in the way of national parks, volcanoes, coastlines, rainforests, canopy trips, and also the wildlife, waller monkeys, and parrots, and also the toucans, the Fruit Loops bird. The hot water is piped right into the hotel, so you'll want to take a dip there for sure. Now, this is a bucket list tour, the best of Australia and New Zealand. And I highly recommend this for October, which is a great time of year to travel, October, November. And this includes both the countries of New Zealand and Australia. And you'll enjoy all the highlights here. On the left is Cairns, that's the Great Barrier Reef. On the right is Milford Sound. This is another bucket list tour. This is a program that'll really, my wife and I took it 3 years ago and we couldn't get over how wonderful it was. You'll fly into Quito, which is a Spanish city there at Ecuador. And then you'll go fly down over to the Galapagos and take a 4-night cruise on a ship called the Legend. It holds 100 people, has an elevator, and you'll stop at one of two ports for sure. Now, there are lots of cruises of the Galapagos, but by far the best is the western one, the one that goes to Isabella Island and Fernandina Island, which are volcanic islands. And again, you'll see all kinds of animals, blue-footed boobies and turtles and all kinds of great things. Very volcanic, very beautiful. A bucket list tour. Peru and Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu means old mountain, and it's in the shape of a turtle because these people, the Incas, built this in 1450, lived here 100 years, and they built their villages shaped like animals. And this is the turtle. And you'll see the railroad we go on. We go to Cusco. The Inca Indians were very big. Over 12 million of them lived in this area. And they were really wiped out by smallpox when the Spaniards come. The Spaniards never found Machu Picchu. It was discovered in 1911, actually, by Yale University professor and National Geographic expedition. And the Inca Indians are very interesting people. Their food is tremendous, and they really have tourism down to an art there. Cuba is another great place to go to. Unpack once, and you'll visit cigar factories and so on. And what I love about this trip is you'll have a cultural exchange every day. So you'll go and do different kinds of dancing, go to museums, meet artists, go to elementary schools, all kinds of great things. You'll really meet the people. South Africa, again, another bucket list tour. And we're doing Cape Town, Johannesburg, with 5 game drives. And of course, we're going to Victoria Falls. All these things are included. So you'll see cheetahs and zebras, elephants, giraffes, lions, all the animals. You gotta love this program. Look at the kind of vehicles we use. If you got any closer to the lions, you'd be lunch. And the Passion Play. Passion Play is 386 years old. It's the 42nd showing. It's once every 10 years. It didn't happen this year, and they've moved it to 2022. And we have various departures going. I think you should join us for sure. It's not only Oberammergau and the Passion Play, which is the story of Christ, but it's also Munich, Salzburg, and Vienna. And you're also going to be going to the Mad King Ludwig Castle, Neuschwanstein. On the left is the town of Johann Strauss and the Waltz, that's Vienna. On the right is the town of Amadeus Mozart, and that's the town of Salzburg, famous for the Sound of Music, the Von Trapp family. That's a great tour. Wow. Now I'm going to talk about European river cruises as we finish up here. The river cruises are known for being the most popular thing in all of travel. The original roads in Europe weren't roads at all, they were rivers. The Rhine River, the Main River, the Danube, and so on. And we take these beautiful ships. They're all outside cabins. We charter the ships. They hold between 140 and 180 people. Very, very first class all the way. And I'm going to show you a very short video that I think will really help. There we go. Thanks, Matthew. That ought to do it. Is it starting? Here we go. Amadeus Cruise Lines. Okay, we just get that slide to reduce and then we'll continue. All right. We have 2 of these departures set up for 2021 and 4 departures set up for 2022. And again, we charter these. Thank you, Matt. We charter these boats, so it's only going to be customers from the United States like this. And these are brand new boats. This is the brand new Imperial. It holds about 150 people, and again, all outside cabins on 3 decks. And you cannot find a more deluxe, beautiful ship. I'll put these up against Viking and AMA Waterways, anybody out there. They're just beautiful experiences. I've been on 4 of these trips myself, and it's a great cruise line. So this is our one for next year. It's a big one. It's a 16 day actually, but it's a 2-week cruise across all of Europe. So if you want to see everything at once, this is the program for you. From Amsterdam to Budapest, on the Rhine, the Main, and the Danube River. All the highlights, unpacking just once right there. And you're going to love this program. Another cruise we have is for the very famous European Christmas markets. And this program will go on the German Christmas markets, which are on the Rhine River. And so I think you'll enjoy that as well. Christmas markets you can see here in Cologne, in Koblenz, Speyer, and Strasbourg. Now, ocean cruises, let's face it, they've had the worst hit of anybody in travel. And I don't think the big ocean cruises are really going to come back till late summer, early fall. But when you want to book your cruise, AFC will be ready for you. And we've got Holland America, Princess, and Celebrity. But small boat cruising is still very fashionable. This is a company that specializes in riverboat cruises on the rivers of America, the Ohio River, the Mississippi River, and the Columbia River. These boats hold the largest 400, but most of the other boats hold under 200. And so they're very intimate paddle wheeler, taking you back to the year 1850, before the Civil War, Mark Twain's time. And they're really time machines, and you should look at this. The most popular river cruise is from New Orleans to Memphis or Memphis to New Orleans. We recommend Memphis to New Orleans. You're going downstream. You're not fighting the current. You get one more port of call, which is Baton Rouge. Whenever you can go on these boats, going downriver is the best way. Also, the same thing going on the Columbia River. Fly into Spokane and cruise from Clarkston to Portland, downriver. You get more ports of call, and it's longer days in port. And this is a new cruise line. It's owned by the American Queen Steamboat Line. It's called Victory Cruises. They have 2 boats, Victory 1 and 2, each holds 200 people. And they cruise, believe it or not, the Great Lakes. And the most popular one is Niagara Falls to Chicago. And you're cruising Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, and Lake Erie. So this is something different. Definitely look into these programs. Ask Joe all about it. And again, let's go over, just to highlight, our wonderful show specials. We want to thank you for attending. And the way to do that, I think, is to save you money. So we're offering, number 1, a lower deposit, $99 per person. That holds your space. You'll get the early booking discount that applies, plus an additional $25 off that. So we're sweetening that up. And then $20 off the tour if you buy your travel protection at the time of deposit. And please make sure that you write or tell Joe the code VTS1120 so we can track that. And again, 3 ways to make a reservation: call us, email us, or go online. Definitely easy way to do it, whatever works for you. And it's all about fun. And again, that's my pledge to you, all the staff here. We want to make this the most fun, educational, and rewarding vacation you've ever taken. I want to thank you for attending the show, but one last thought. We are very encouraged by the progress of Operation Warp Speed in coming up with vaccines for COVID. There are two of them, Pfizer and Moderna, that look extremely good through their third phase, and they show 94% or better efficiency. They're already producing these in masses, and they should be available to the general public the first quarter of next year. Folks, this is incredible news. And I think it's really going to be literally a shot in the arm for travel. And again, we're very encouraged, very optimistic. We hope you will be too. I want to thank you for your time. You've been a great audience, and there'll be further ones coming out doing other shows with Deb and Chris and so on. And I hope you'll join us then. I hope to see you down the road, and thanks so much for attending. Bye-bye now.